very strange that I have a large nose, and I'll tell you why.
I guess you're privileged to have a big nose then, because you don't live in harsh conditions.
The habanero one? Holy fuck, dude. Woo! You know, maybe I've been treating this bike as some sort of parkour bike when really it's just a...
I once came face to face with a wild rhinoceros. That was pretty crazy.
I got stung by a bee once. Hello? Hello.
Welcome back to another episode of Burning Boat Business. It's just the two of us this week. I want to take these off.
Okay.
That's so much different wearing those.
All right. Get the mood up. I know I'm tired. Oops. I just spilled.
Well, it's been a while since it was just the two of us talking about stuff, so I feel like
it's been like 2 weeks.
It's been like 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
it feels like so much has happened. What I feel like even the podcast before last, wasn't that when we had a break? I can't remember. But it feels like it's at 3 weeks since we actually talked about what's going on, because I was going through our calendar. I was like, we haven't talked about this, we haven't talked about this, we haven't talked about this.
let's
There's
go.
so much going on.
Okay.
But I know that you have a little segment you wanted to run, and I think it's fitting to
Run the
start with
theme
that.
song.
Before you get into it,
Oh.
I don't have a theme song.
I know, but we'll make one.
Okay. Really? Do you want to do that? Because I was about to say, add it now.
Yeah.
It's review time. Movies, podcasts, books.
Books.
We should do a weekly, like, what we're listening to / watching / reading.
Yeah.
And have thought about it and just have a quick little, this is good, this is bad, you should check this out. I that's my favorite part of when I listen to podcasts, is when other people tell me what they're
Checking out.
what they're into at the moment, whether
Okay.
it be like a TV show or a book. So what are you currently
Well, let me set it up.
consuming?
Because we had talked about your pretty sizable DVD collection.
Oh, right. That's how it started.
And I said, hey, buddy, could I get one of those boxes? Because I don't have Netflix at the moment or any other subscription, so I can't really watch anything besides YouTube. And one day you went up, you brought down a box. I took the box home. I took out 120. I couldn't even fit it, but I put all the DVDs on my desk.
Were there 120
in one
those?
more.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's 120 on my desk now. And then there's still like, I don't know how many, maybe like 40 left in the box or something.
Shit.
Yeah. And then I said, okay, but I also want to, because there's ones that I know I want to watch.
Yeah.
But I want it to be more random.
Yeah, it's more fun when you
Yeah.
got to watch some stuff that's like, ugh, I
Exactly.
don't know if I want to see that.
Exactly. And it leaves it a little bit. Otherwise, you just cherry pick the good stuff. And then, you know, there'll be stuff that you maybe would have liked to have seen, but, you know, you think you won't like it.
Yeah.
So you won't watch it.
Yeah.
But maybe you will like it.
Yeah.
So I call Kevin now before I'm going to watch, and I tell him to give me a number. So the first movie that I watched was Signs by M. Night Shyamalan. Shyamalan.
One of my favorites.
He is a Indian film. No, I'm kidding. Made 2001. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Ooh, that's pretty high.
It's okay.
This is perfect. The podcast I'm listening to,
Yeah.
Tim Ferriss Show, he says when he asks people to rate stuff from 1 to 10, he always says, but you can't say 7, because it's like, it's like right there. It's polite, but it's like you got to either say 6 or 8.
Then I would have to go a 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And I thought it was an amazing movie. I thought the cinematography I thought was great. It's so simple. The story's so simple. I love Joaquin Phoenix. I feel like anything he's in, I'm going to enjoy. I thought Mel Gibson played the part really well.
Yeah.
There were some funny moments, but it was the ending. And I think I ruined it for myself
everyone
because I
talks about the
knew
ending.
it was Shyamalan. So I was kind of expecting something incredible. Shyamalan. And I just thought the ending was okay. It didn't blow my mind. It's also made in 2001. I feel like it'd be hard to...
See, this was one of the films that I first remember watching.
Really?
Like, obviously, I remember watching Disney films when I was really small.
Yeah.
But I remember watching this back when I still lived in the Netherlands, which would have been... I moved from there when I was in the 4th grade.
Yeah.
So I would have watched this probably in like the 3rd grade, maybe.
Yeah, that would be scary.
Yeah, and it was the scariest film to me. It's good. It's
I
remember being very, very scared while watching
scary.
it, but very into it.
Yeah. That scene with the knife, I thought
Yeah.
that was brilliant.
It's a good one.
There's a lot of good.
I think you're right
moments.
though. It's a very interesting way the story is told because it's it's a huge the thing that's happening in the film is at a huge scale.
Yeah.
It's like apocalyptic what's happening.
Oh yeah.
But it's all
all
shot
at the
on
house.
one location.
Yeah,
Like with
pretty
the
much.
exception of like 2 or 3 scenes.
Yeah.
All takes place right there.
And the way it starts is like, I don't know why I had it in my head that it was like, oh, the first 10 minutes of the movie kind of need to be this setup phase. Like, what is life like before the change happens? This movie
How does
just
it?
gets to the meat and potatoes right a fucking way, and I love it.
How does it start?
It starts
with the
literally with like a
flashback, right?
shot. No. It just starts with him. Oh, maybe it is a flashback, and then it was a dream or something. He wakes up.
Yeah.
You don't really know what's happening. You see one picture frame of like him and his wife or something.
Set up.
You get this weird thing where like you understand he has kids, and you understand that someone else is living next to him. But within the first like 2 minutes,
Right.
they go out into the field and find the first like sign.
Oh, like it happens
It's
straight
just-
away.
It's the first thing that happens.
Plot point 1 happens
It's
straight
literally
away.
the first thing that like kind of wakes people up and forces them outside and
That's
stuff.
it. Yeah. That's true.
So I really like that, just getting right into it. And then I was like, how the fuck are they going to fill out the rest of this movie? And I honestly, I couldn't tell you even what happens, but it doesn't feel like, I mean, it felt slow compared to movies today maybe, but
Yeah.
it felt like right on pace for me. I was interested.
The dialogue's good.
Yeah, it's just
It's
good.
just a lot of scenes where people are talking about what just happened.
Yeah.
And what it means. It's very interesting.
It's good. It's good. And I like the kid actors are really good.
Cool.
One of them is a Culkin boy, and the other one, I don't know who it is.
All right.
And then the next one, straight out of motherfucking
Compton. Yeah, I don't.
See, this is an example of a movie that I would have never watched.
Right. But
Given
because I
the
happen to
options.
have it on DVD because I went a little crazy with my collection back
Right,
in the day.
right.
Get everything.
Yeah. So I watched this in 2 parts because I'm also... Here's a question. Should I watch the director's cut or the theatrical release?
You know what? I would have said
I didn't even think about it till
director's
afterwards.
cut when I was into
Yeah.
collecting stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that'll be the better version.
Yeah.
But like the more I
Yeah.
realize,
Yeah.
the more I understand that the director's cut is not the better version. It's the version where the director gets to put in
Everything.
all the shit that they
Yeah.
decided to take
Yeah.
out because
Yeah.
it made the film better
Yeah.
to take it out.
I'm going to be honest. The first half, I wasn't too into at all.
Okay.
I kind of built my preconceptions of what I thought it was going to be. I said a lot of the scenes were just super on the nose,
Yeah.
where I was kind of like, Mama, this music thing's going to work out for me. Nah, I don't believe in you, son. I don't believe in you at all. I don't think that's going to work out for you at all. It just all felt very like, oh my God, we get it. The mom doesn't believe in the son's music. Okay, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff, I don't know. I just didn't work for me. But then I watched the other half yesterday,
Yeah.
and I kind of liked it.
Oh.
And I love the music.
Yeah.
So anytime any of the music comes on, I actually love the music. I think Ice Cube's son was like really good in it.
Yeah, so Ice Cube's son plays his dad.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And I didn't know anything about this. It feels more like a bit of like homework, I guess.
It's a bit of history.
Yeah, a little history, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But I would give that one like a... I also don't know, because it's just a totally different movie.
Right.
It's like, we're giving an autobiography of kind of what happened, So I just feel like it's in a full different... I don't even know how to rate it. But I'm not that into it, so I'd give it like a 4
Out
or
of 10.
5.
Okay.
Yeah. And that concludes...
Movie review. Whoa.
Whoa. The fuck was that?
Movie review.
Whoa, and we're back.
So before we end the segment of reviews, are you listening to any podcasts at the moment?
Yeah.
What is your current go-to podcast?
Same. Your Mom's House, Tiger Belly, Hamish and Andy, Marin, Rogan, if somebody's interesting, is on.
Kill Tony.
Kill Tony, yeah, though I stopped listening. I'll watch it occasionally.
And
That's about it.
Are these all comedy podcasts?
Yeah, Marin's a comedian as well. I mean, some are more interviews with just random people.
Any
But-
episode to recommend?
No, just listen.
Just in general, they're all good in general.
It's also you gotta find it yourself.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's like you can't really tell somebody to listen to it because you got to do a little work. You got to learn to meet the people and get the references and the jokes that are being made.
Right.
And if you tell somebody to go listen, they're usually like, I don't get it. And it's
Right.
like,
How do they get new listeners then?
people like me, I mean, you listen, and I think it's with a lot of things. It's like people need sometimes people can recommend me something 8 times, but it's not until like I sit down at night and I'm like, hey, I should listen to this that I actually start to like it. Yeah. What about you?
I'm currently, so I used to listen to Tim Ferriss as like the only podcast I listened to.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to podcasts all the time, so it's
Yeah.
not like I listened to 100 of his episodes or anything.
Yeah.
But then I haven't really listened to podcasts much, and I do audiobooks. But then after I started biking again, I was like, podcasts, I want to give that a go.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Kill Tony for the first time, which is a comedy thing.
Yeah.
And it was funny. Yeah, nothing bad to say about it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to, I tried listening to Tim Ferriss again, and I was like, oh, this is what I love.
Nice.
And it's like so satisfying to get back into. I just love the way, it's basically Tim Ferriss, he is able to interview some of the most successful people in their industry, and he just asks them a bunch of questions. But I love the way he asks questions. There's always something interesting about the way he asks it. So instead of like asking what's the advice you would give to young entrepreneurs, the last one I listened to was with the co-founder of Instagram. What was did we just look that up? System?
Robin Thicke. Something like that.
System?
Fabio.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So what he didn't ask, what's the advice you would give to young entrepreneurs? He asked, what advice do you give to entrepreneurs that they never take?
Okay.
And it just like it's a slightly different question.
Yeah,
And
a little
it's
more
like,
interesting.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I can do that then if I don't actually remember.
Ooh.
Oh, what he said was, come up with something, like solve a problem. Don't
Yeah.
just have a good idea.
Yeah.
Or a good team.
Yeah.
Or know something about a topic or an industry. Like actually go in and solve a problem. And that's something a lot of people ignore because it's hard to do. Obviously, I assume that's why.
Okay.
So I'm listening to that, and then I'm currently reading Why We Sleep, which is a book. Basically, it's a collection of sleep studies that talks about. I've only like read the first chapter and a half, so I'm not really into it yet. But it was recommended by someone who's on the Tim Ferriss podcast.
Okay.
Hence why we're doing this segment now, because I find it so interesting.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's just fascinating to learn about how much sleep actually affects us, which is so obvious when you think about it. But it's like the thing that stuck with me from the first couple of pages was every animal on planet Earth sleeps.
Is that true?
Every animal that lives longer than a few days
Okay.
has a sleep cycle.
Okay.
And so obviously it must have evolved for a good reason, because it's something that puts us in a very vulnerable state. We're not able to protect ourselves from danger.
Yeah.
We're not able to do anything productive, as in like move shit around or gather food. We're not building relationships while we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're literally just like in a coma for a third of your life.
Yeah.
It must have some massive benefit that we still don't quite know. And that's what the book's kind of about.
Gotcha.
It's very interesting.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I think now we can end the review segment. Let's move on and talk about something that I can't believe we haven't talked about on the podcast yet.
What?
Which is why I realized that, this is like a while ago since we actually just had us two talking. Which is the Slovenia Trail.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Listen, buddy. I feel
you
uncomfortable.
can't
I know. I feel it's very.
It's fun. It's your like, here we go thing.
Yeah.
Here I go. Just
I gotta do something. I can't sit still.
look here.
I'm playing with this. Yeah, I need something to.
Something that isn't loud.
Yeah. It's like my teacher is in school again. I'm like, Taylor, don't fiddle with things. Okay, Slovenia. Yeah, I think a month ago or maybe 2 months ago, we were still talking about going on a mountain trip.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I think it kind of came out of that because I kept on thinking, like, is that really what I want to do? And I kept on just bubbling a little bit. And it was like, no, it's not exactly what I want to do. And I said, well, what is it that I want to do? And it was something more like extended, like an extended something. And then I've been like researching-ish, occasionally the PCT for about a year. Just looking into it every once in a while, watching a video here or there, and like nothing special. And that was something I really wanted to do. But it's kind of a massive planning. What do you call it? It's a lot of work to plan, and it's a lot of money because it's not in Europe, it's in America. Meaning I would have to fly out there. It takes 4 months. So I was like, when the hell are we going to have a company to the point where I could just leave for 4 months and it not be a massive issue? You need permits. It also feels like it can become a little bit crowded because a lot of people want to do it. It's quite popular. I said, you know what? Fuck it. Like, let me just start looking in Europe and let me just see if there's anything here. And so I think I just typed in, like, what are the best thru hikes in Europe? And, like, the first one that comes up is the Slovenian mountain trail.
What's a thru hike?
A thru hike, I think, is anything like long hike. That would mean you're camping or you're spending the night somewhere, I think. But it's spelled like THRU.
Yeah.
Thru hike. I don't fucking know.
I mean, I know the term, but I think, anything that's like long.
Yeah.
I feel like a thru hike wouldn't be something that's like 4 days. It's got to be like, that sounds like a long hike.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Thru hike is more like
like you're going through somewhere, you know?
Like through, maybe that's what it means.
Yeah.
It means like from one side to the other or something.
That could be.
Like through a country.
Through a little mountain range or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this one popped up and I looked at a couple others. But for whatever reason, that one seemed the coolest.
What's cool about it?
It's got, it's in Slovenia, which I know nothing about. So I thought that was cool. It's got a lot of different terrain. It's got mountains. It's got, and what I really liked is that you end up by the beach.
Really? It ends in the beach?
It ends at the water, at the ocean.
Really?
So you like baptize yourself basically at the end.
That's cool.
So
definitely got to finish it then.
Yeah, so I think that's, I just looked into it and it's just one of those things. I think I just, the same way I feel a strong urge to move every year. I just need something new, about once a year.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I get a little bit, a little bit antsy. And I don't know, that just popped in my head. And I said, fuck it, dude, that's what I'm going to do. And so I kind of I haven't done anything. Because part of it, too, is, I shouldn't say this, but I don't want to plan too much because I think part of the fun is just going and figuring it out
while you're there.
Right. Like, you could plan everything to a T.
Yeah,
but
like exactly how far you're going to go.
Yeah. And I hate that kind of stuff. I'd much rather figure out. I think you need to be harsh about like, hey, we need to do this much in this week. But to be like every day, if we haven't reached our checkpoint, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Is like, I just don't do things like that.
No.
I much rather have an end goal at the end of the week and spread it out.
Yeah.
And maybe it's raining someday and you want to chill a little bit. And maybe the other day it's really nice and we're like, fuck it, let's go push. Let's walk for 16 hours or whatever and do something like that. And that's where I'm at. Honestly, not too much planned. I'm going to get I think most of the equipment. I still need to get trekking poles and I still need to get a backpack. And then I need to check if there's bears there. Because then you need like a special container or something.
Yeah.
And besides that.
And so you're going with someone as well?
I'm going with Lily, who was on the podcast. I don't know how much of it she's going to do with me. It sounds like 2 to 3 weeks or the full thing. I have no idea, honestly. She's a little bit like me as well, I think, where it's like, see when we see, but I'm using her tent. So I know I have that for the full 4 weeks, that it would take 28 days now, if that works out in the schedule. We're also trying to, because Mads is running his Ironman at the beginning of July, and you're having your baby sometime this month.
Could be today.
We're trying to fit that in nicely as well. You know, everything kind of needs to slot nicely, and I think there's a spot for it that fits very nicely right there. And I just thought June, because it feels like, you know, I know it's summer, but it feels like, honestly, that's the least busy time.
Well, we've just made
us.
it. It just happens to be the right.
But
now.
it also feels like that. Everyone was like, hey, we need to shoot this in May.
Yeah. It's true.
And then it's like, we haven't booked anything for June. We haven't like said no to anything.
No, we haven't.
You know, I think that is honestly when people go on vacation, or if you have kids, that's when your kids get out of school.
Yeah.
That's when you go on vacation. And the other option was kind of September. But I remember we just looked at the calendar too. Like last year, September was fucking busy.
Packed with stuff.
And I think that's the beginning of school, and that's when everyone kind of gets their budgets potentially.
Yeah.
So I think I wouldn't want to be gone for that month.
Well, this baby due date is also it's making a very clear deadline by which we want to get everything done by.
Yeah.
So we've had, I'd say, the busiest 3 weeks we've ever had.
Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted, to be honest.
And it's still, the next week is just as busy.
Yeah.
But that means that we then are left with some time.
Yeah.
So it
I
is
think we've
it is
stacked it
really
quite
good
nicely.
timing.
And it's exactly a year almost from when I arrived, you know?
It's exactly a year.
And I think we've been going pretty hard. And, you know, based off this sleep thing as well, I also believe that you need to like get out, you know, every once in a while. And I think we're not shooting a film this year. Last year we had Boris and Johan. And even though that's fucking stressful as fuck, it's still something that mentally puts you in a different space.
Yeah.
It feels like a long hike.
And then you get out of it and it's like, well, yeah, it's not like going on a 30-day hike.
No,
and
but it
easy,
feels mentally
relaxing,
like that, you know?
It changes your...
You come out of it
You're
like,
thinking.
whoa,
Yeah.
what just happened for 30 days?
For sure.
And that's, I think, what why I probably want to do it.
So you brought up Boris and Johan.
Yeah.
How do you feel about where it is at the moment?
I mean, honestly, not super stoked.
Yeah.
But I'm also not upset. I think I'm a little bit in the boat of it's going to take as long as it takes. And I think the one thing I wouldn't want is to push something out just because we want to hit a festival or something. Right?
What do you mean push something out?
Well, like, I don't know. When I was researching film festivals, kind of the first thing people would say is like, try to remove the urgency.
Oh, right.
Meaning like, don't try to finish your film so that you can submit it to this one festival.
Yeah.
You should let the film finish, and then that determines what festivals you kind of go for. So would I love for it to be done? Of course. But at the same time, I don't feel like we've done anything wrong, nor would I do anything different if we did it again, because it's like, we need to make money, we need to work. There's realities to life, and then there's also the, you know, the things, what do you call it? Like, you got to balance that. And there was a massive push to finish Boris and Johan, and it just didn't quite get there. Although I have to say it didn't quite get there. There's still a decent amount to be done. It's not like, oh, if we had just worked for another 3-5 days, we would have finished. There's still like a decent amount that just takes time to go through. And we just haven't had the time. I mean, we haven't chunked off any time. I think we've had one day that we sat down.
I know.
And kind of went through it.
That was an intense day.
It's a very intense day, and it's very... the difficulty, too, is it's not a project anymore that you can just open and work for 2 hours on. It's like, you got to get in that mindset. You got to, like, bring out the boards. You got to remember everything that's going on and kind of dive back into it. And that takes, like, a day or two just to get, like, mentally back into, like, here we go. This is what we're working on. This is, you know... And I know what we need to do. I mean, it's all there. We have everything we need. It's honestly just down to time now.
So like the thought of going on a month-long hike without that being done, is that something that
No, I don't think.
scares you a little bit, or do you think
Yeah, I wouldn't be too happy with that.
you wouldn't?
No.
So it's definitely something that you're seeing as a...
Yeah, I think the only thing that I don't like is the fact that I was hoping we'd be able to work on it together.
Right.
And it's looking more and more like when you take your paternity for the baby, I think that's just the time where I'm going to have to finish it. Which, I mean, I can still send you stuff, obviously. We still have a dialogue, but I think it's going to be hard to find because next week we have a shoot as well. Again, we've got these days here and there, but it's like it's very hard to work on it.
I do think
on a day here and
yeah.
there.
At first, I kept thinking like, we should put it where we can do it, as in do a day here and do a day there. But I do see how we need to be able to work on it for more than one day at a time, because it also just will take, let's say that if we worked on it for 10 days straight, we could finish it.
Yeah.
If we worked on it single days here and there, it would probably take like 18 days just because of getting into it, and that takes time. Everything would just take longer.
Yeah. And you also don't get it takes a while to get excited about an edit that you've been working on for 5 months. It takes a while to get that, and that's when you want to be working, is when you're like, like the stuff we're working on right now, we're right in the sweet spot of it's super exciting in the editing room. Things are flowing, things are working out. To hit that and Boris and Johan again, I think just takes a couple days.
Yeah.
Especially with the kind of stuff that we're doing. Like we need to just grind out the sound mix, grind that out, then go back to story. I think then we'll get excited again. But it's these things where it's like if you do them disjointedly, I think it kind of comes across in the film as well. Because if you do a sound mix May 1st and then you don't do the next one until May 12th, like there's no real consistency in what we're doing.
It's going to feel different.
I
mean, I want to work on it too.
Yeah, that's the thing. People keep saying like, and it's like, dude, if I had $1 million, I would quit all the jobs we're doing right now and only work on that. But it's like, that's not the situation we're in, which is fine. I'm also not, like I said, I'm not upset about it. I just wouldn't lie and be like, yeah, this is the exact situation that I want.
But look, once we've finished the videos that we're editing now, then, correct me if I'm wrong, everything else there is no deadline on.
No, but we do need to get paid by some people, and that might require finishing some projects.
That's why I said to finish the 2 today.
Yeah.
Plus the extra one that we still need to film. But that's a short one.
Which one is that?
It's the dancing one.
Oh, that? Yeah.
Once we've done that,
then
that's a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
And then the 2 other payments would come in without us working anymore. One of them being a 50% upfront payment, and the other one being a video we've already finished that we just need confirmation.
Yeah.
So that means that there is potentially going to be some time.
That would be great. I also just don't want to, I know there's the potential for time, but I think, and I totally agree. So I think it's totally possible. What people should also know is that, apparently, I didn't know this either, but a baby is very, it could just happen whenever.
Well, Phoebe thought she was going into labor today.
Today?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Earlier.
When?
I went out with Arlo.
Oh my God.
And I came back inside, and she just had this look in her eyes. And I was just like, what? What's going on? And she was like, I feel really weird. It feels really weird. I'm getting these like it
ripples?
Feels like contractions going kind of like sideways, which is different from what I've normally felt.
Okay.
And then it went away.
Yep. And we're gone, gone tomorrow.
My immediately, I was just like, it was the first time that I've actually fully, for that minute or two, I was like, all right, well that means, okay, you're going to go by yourself. Then this we got to get one of the people we talked to do it.
No, it'd be fine.
And I played through it, and I was like, all right, got to get the birthing pool ready. And I played through it, and I was like, all right, yeah, I can deal with it happening.
Yeah.
Which is nice
to
know. So it's kind of an exciting little moment, but still wait for a bit.
Yeah. Hold it.
I told Phoebe on Friday of next week, we should have filmed everything with the exception of this one dance video. Although
Oh, yeah.
they could get back to us and be like, let's do it on Sunday.
That would be great.
Or even if we did it on that weekend, on an evening that
that would be really great.
But then that'll be fun, I think, to get to that stage and then to be like, okay, I'm not like out filming or anything.
Yeah.
Now we can just like get rid of everything else. We've gotten all the footage.
Yeah.
We don't have any deadlines for editing it. We can say, look, we need a little bit of time to edit this stuff. And then work on Boris and Johan to finish it.
God.
But we need
and it's
to
not
finish
even finish it.
We
It's just
need
getting the cut done to send to people.
Yeah.
That I don't mind. Putting that out there, letting it sit for a month, letting people give us notes back, and then kind of doing the final distribution.
Because that needs some
push
time
to festivals. Yeah, exactly. That's totally fine.
We need to get that done.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think with the videos we're currently working on, we can another day or two. Those will be done.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We'll see with graphics, but I think so. Yeah.
2 days.
2 days. But again, we're shooting tomorrow. We're out and about.
Yeah, so we're going to Aarhus tomorrow.
And then Tuesday to Thursday.
Day trip.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a 2-day trip.
Yeah.
It's also a little scary. I don't know if I get a call.
Dude, that shit. I'm like, how are you even gonna get home?
Look, we're getting there. So we're taking the bus to Aarhus, which is 4 hours away from Copenhagen.
Yeah.
So we'll get there at around 11 in the morning tomorrow, Saturday, and then we're shooting all day. And I think we're shooting a concert, and the last band that we're supposed to film is supposed to be on stage at 1:30 at night.
Yeah.
Or actually, it might be 12:30.
Gotcha.
I believe it might be 12:30 because in Danish you say half one.
Oh, okay.
So I'm having that. So it would be 12:30.
12:30 to 1:30.
But that means that we miss the last bus of the day or of the night rather.
Yeah.
And then the next one isn't until 8 the following morning.
That is correct.
And so if suddenly like Phoebe calls me at 12 and is like, I think it's happening.
Yeah.
Then I can't make the bus to get back.
No.
So, I mean, I don't know what I'd do. I'd have to get in a cab. Do cabs go that far?
I'm sure.
I guess they would.
Be fucking payday for that guy.
Yeah.
4-hour cab ride?
I mean, that would have to happen. But, I don't like the idea of planning.
I mean, again, it's
for that
it's
kind
a
of stuff
span of a month. It's like
you can't
Yeah.
we're not going to not go.
Yeah.
To shoot this.
Yeah.
I'm sure people would be like, well, you should have not gone if it ended up happening.
Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, we've got that.
Yeah.
And then it'll be 2 days, Monday, Tuesday next week. Although
Tuesday we're shooting.
Yeah, so it'll be Monday editing. So
Yeah, so we should try to finish it Monday.
Try to finish it Monday.
Salad.
And then we're shooting another video for 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And then it'd be amazing if we could shoot the last video for Souls on...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying,
one of those
because
3 days.
already then, I mean, if the baby comes on the due date, let's say,
I don't think he will.
that is...
I say that and I hate when people say that shit.
Huh?
Going off of statistics, there's a higher chance that he will be late than he will be early.
Oh, yeah?
Because of the fact that it's Phoebe's first baby.
Gotcha. Anyways, I mean, that's just the next week. I'm just saying, of course, if the baby comes on the 30th of May, that's amazing. But then we have enough time to finish Boris and Johan. If it doesn't, we'll deal with it. That's fine too.
But I think, again, it's like, what if we planned to not work on it because maybe he will come, then we'll sit and we'll work on these other videos at that time. And suddenly we'll be like, oh, a week just went by. We could have done it.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's plan to do it that following week.
All right, let's plan 13th to the 17th.
And just park all the other projects.
Yeah, because we don't... Because
I think that you can work on while I'm on paternity leave much better than Boris and Johan.
That's true. That's actually very true. So if we get those done, that's very true. Should do that. And then we'd have I can work, get us into a good spot when I leave. And then
I can pick up where you left off.
Yeah. That's
and
perfect.
Finish the edit for those videos.
Yeah.
And then
I think all of June should be obviously either finishing those videos or just trying to find new clients for July.
Find new clients, and I am going to be working my ass off on my script at that time.
Nice.
That has been the thing that I have not. It has been the lower of my priorities.
That's good.
In the past month, it just has been.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just like
just no way.
It's hard. It's hard. And it would be different if we were rolling in money and we were like, oh, we still are going to take more jobs. It'd be very different. But I think we've got a very good, tight balance going. It's tight. It's fucking tight. But it works. That'll be good. And then I come back, like, let's say July 5th or 6th or something. Or, I need to be back by the 5th for your Ironman. You run the Ironman.
Because my script, it has to be done before that goddamn Ironman.
Okay.
That is something in my head that is just so massive.
That's perfect. So on the 6th, I think you'll be done with the Ironman. You'll be done with your script. I'll have done my thru hike.
I'll have had a baby.
You'll have had a baby. I should be getting ready to submit to festivals on that day. Come back.
This podcast feels like the end of our first year.
Yeah, July. I think that'll be a intense day. That will be year one of Burning Boat, kind of the cap. I think we'll all feel good.
Oh, yeah, it's just so crazy.
How much do babies grow in a month?
I don't know.
They grow a lot? Are they like puppies?
Yeah. What?
Are they like puppies?
In the amount they grow?
Yeah, I remember like
No, that wouldn't be as fast as a.
Okay, cool. I remember when I used to go on vacation as a kid, and we had Audio was still a puppy, and you would leave, and you'd come back, and it would be like a new dog.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the fuck?
No, I mean, I think. I don't know.
That'll be good.
But this, I wrote down. I feel like this feels like. Yeah, like the end of the year, kind of.
Yeah, it will be.
And then I also feel like our company is at this middle stage. I mean, we keep saying that to people we meet with. We've had a lot of meetings outside of the jobs that we're doing and we're working on at the moment. And it just feels like we're about to move on to the next stage in terms of business stuff, but also with everything else. Yeah. So
it's exciting.
It's an exciting time.
It is. And it's also we could talk about that a little bit. I find that a difficult transition.
Yeah.
From it's just us two to when do we start?
Yeah.
I
think now.
At some point you gotta. But also when do you start having jobs and they trust our company's quality?
Yeah.
But we're not actually touching necessarily the product.
I think.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that is a stage further where we're not touching the stuff. I think the next stage will be we have people helping us, but we are still very much involved in all stages.
Right.
But we're not alone.
Right.
And so maybe we
what do
don't
you think?
Film anything.
Well, that's what I was.
One project.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we get all the footage, but we're still gonna edit all of it.
Yeah.
Or the other way around.
Yeah. Oh, I would love that.
We film everything, and then we hand it off to an editor that we're working with, and they get it to this point, and then we take it to the next part.
Yeah. Just organize it.
But also in the podcast I was listening to yesterday, this guy was talking about the ability to hire people and how that is one of the most important things in determining the growth of a company, because I think naturally people want to hire people who are not as good as them. Yeah. Just like a reflex almost. Like a feeling of, well, I don't want them to be better than me because then they might like take my job. If we're talking about in a big company, for example.
I see.
If you're the assistant editor and you've been put in charge of hiring another assistant editor.
I see.
Are you going to hire someone who's better than you? And
I
then
see.
it's harder for you to get promoted, for example, or there's more competition.
Yeah.
It seems kind of more intuitive to hire someone who's a little bit less than you so that you can kind of teach them.
Okay.
I think that's true. I think it would be. I'm the people I've been thinking about. I'm like, oh, we'd hire someone who's an assistant editor, and I imagine them being not above our level of editing, but I think that's wrong.
Totally wrong.
I think we should hire.
I just think it would be a cost thing. If somebody's better than us, I think they'd be extremely
worth
expensive.
more, right? But I think then the strategy should be, instead of hiring both an assistant editor and a, I don't know, production assistant.
Yeah.
It should be, no, don't do both. Just do one of them and hire the best one we can possibly get.
Yeah.
And even like, I have not thought about this a lot, but even like pay them more than we pay ourselves. But then our company is better.
Right.
And then it will grow the company.
Yeah.
And then we can catch up.
I see.
But like that should be the goal, to make the company better and not just to hire someone, because we're at that stage.
No, I agree.
It'd be like, let's hire like someone who can do graphics better than you.
Yeah. Not hard.
Well, I think you're amazing.
Well, if you got a graphics guy,
Right?
sure, he would
but
teach us
it's
a thing or
like,
two.
I don't know, that just, I hadn't really thought about it like that
Yeah.
before. And it just makes a lot of sense.
That's interesting. I think definitely. Yeah, because it would be so frustrating if somebody's bad.
Yeah, but it would also
just
be,
be like,
it would also
why
be
do-
a
why
little
are you here?
satisfying, I think. Part of me, at least, would be like, well, we're the bosses and we're the best.
Right.
And we're like the one who has the final say. We're the
Right.
ones who started this whole thing. We know what's going on. And to have someone come in who's better
Yeah.
than us at something
Yeah.
would be like, oh. But it's totally not the way. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's
not. Yeah, definitely.
we
hire them.
still can, we can still have the vision or have the
Yeah.
idea, and then they can just execute better than
Yeah.
us.
I think it's also what I never liked was, there's people who run, because I worked for a couple of production companies, and there were some people who would get involved in, like, let's say the editing process, but they were never an editor. So they couldn't help. It's almost like they wanted to be involved just because,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
sometimes they would give good notes that would be outside of the perspective, and sometimes they would say things and you would get the sense of, like, everybody in the room, like, oh, this person doesn't know what they're talking about in this regard. Right? So I think you got to be a little bit, like, keep that tool sharp, even if things do get outsourced, or what would you call it, delegated at some point. It's like, you got to still edit. Otherwise, you're going to lose that, Same with graphics. It's like, for sure, at some point, we're going to hire somebody who's better than me. But I still want to do it so that I can know how to communicate with them and be like,
yeah,
hey,
it's possible.
because also if you don't know anything about what they're doing, which happens a lot, it's like they can just say whatever they want. Like, how long is that going to take? And they'll be like, oh, well, the rendering needs to blah, throw in a bunch of fancy words, and they can kind of get away
Say
with
what's
anything.
going on.
Or if you're like, hey, could you actually change that? And they'd be like, oh, no, it's not possible because blah, blah, blah.
It's
You want to know a little bit and
interesting.
be like, hey, well, have you tried that? Have you tried this? Make sure that...
Well, I can totally see that, because even just, with me sitting next to you,
Yeah.
and I kind of see what you're doing a little bit, and
Yeah.
I know everything that you've done, because obviously I'm working on the videos as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I can help in the smallest way,
Yeah.
by being like, well, I know you've done something similar.
Right.
What about that?
Yeah, exactly.
And it does.
And that
help.
can actually, I think also the thing of, we had a situation where somebody said, hey, could you guys try this? And I was like, no, not going to work.
Yeah.
It just didn't work in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Okay, let's sit down. Let's at least try it.
Yeah.
And then we'll tell them it didn't work.
Yeah.
And lo and behold,
It
it
works.
worked out perfectly.
That's so much
So I
better.
think maybe, sometimes it's good to have a completely different perspective. So going back on what I just said,
Yeah.
to have a fresh mind that can be like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Can we just try it?
Yeah.
So maybe the combination of us two is good, actually, because I think in a lot of ways we fill in each other's knowledge gaps. I think we interlock quite nicely with if somebody doesn't know something half the time, the other person will know it.
It just got me excited listening to that guy talk about hiring up and like imagining for a second, okay, what if we hired a cinematographer who's been working in the industry for 20 years?
Oh, yeah.
And he comes on set with us.
Yeah.
And my initial thought was, oh, I'd feel like I don't want to like get in his way.
Yeah.
But then I feel like, just imagine the amount of stuff we could be like, we know what we want. This is what the video needs to be.
Yeah.
And having a conversation with that person about how can we achieve that?
Yeah.
And then they'd have all these ideas and all this experience about how to achieve that result.
Yeah.
And then, I think we are good at trying or just thinking about, well, okay, how could it work?
Yeah.
And being able to push that person who's, even though they have 20 years of experience behind a camera,
Yeah.
like, what if we like let's do it and be able to like
Yeah.
work together
Yeah.
and not it doesn't, it just like made sense in my head.
I think it's
I'm
also
not
with
really
films,
explaining it well.
but with film specifically, it's such a, you can't do it all.
No.
If you want to be at the top of the game when it comes to that, there's just not enough time in the world to get good at everything and to be able to have your hands in everybody's baskets. It's just not possible. Like I see us with Boris and Johan, and I'm like, I honestly don't know if I could do that full thing again without being like, you know what? It would make so much sense to hire an editor,
Right.
to start it off and to get everything together and to, like, the amount of jobs that I think 4 people did on that film, which was like everything, is just like, I think it's good to do and you learn a lot and blah, 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 but there's limitations to that then. You can only go so far as opposed to having somebody specifically designated for one job that they are, one of the best at, and that you trust them with that a little bit and let them do their thing and build a relationship with them. I think it's what you have to do. And it's probably what every successful filmmaker does.
Successful any company does, I think.
Probably, yeah.
So are you more in the boat of wanting to get,
My boat's burnt, buddy.
do you want to be the best at one thing, like within the company?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you rather be a little bit more in charge and be able to hire the best person, but not be the best person at any individual
no, the
thing?
latter.
Right.
Yeah.
Same.
Because also time is going to run out. I am good at what I do now because I grew up in the generation where you learned those programs. Programs are going to change. Cameras are going to change. If I am like obsessed with like, I need to be on top of it and I need to understand, it's like you should do that to a certain extent, but also like there's going to be the next Taylor and Mads who are probably just going to be better at it because they grew up with that, And then I think it would be foolish of us to somehow be jealous or like, no, we should be like, no, you guys do it. You guys are way better at this.
Yeah.
I think one thing that won't go away is like an eye for what we like and an eye for what feels good and what sounds good and what looks good. And but that's something that's timeless. But a camera or like how you use it or editing styles or, I think that shit you just gotta. I guess it's a balance. You move with a little bit, but definitely I think you would kind of pass on the baton at some point.
I feel like the videos we're working on now, one thing that's interesting to mention is that we haven't released a video
In a long time.
for the past like 3.5 months.
Yeah.
Not because we haven't been working on videos, but
Yeah.
because they're all building up.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be releasing some bangers.
Bangers, buddies.
Very soon. And I feel like I mean we've talked about this a lot while we've been shooting them and while we've been editing. It's like this is amazing practice. And this kind of stuff that I don't know how we've been able to pull off making these videos because they're so ridiculous for what they like. A commercial for a vegan restaurant.
They're pretty out there.
It's like, no, it's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but it's like of a whole nother.
Yeah.
It's just such great practice for
It
us
is.
to be.
It is. And every single one you do, you learn a little bit more.
Totally
and
do. It's like
just the last one, I kept on thinking, and it kept on making me think like at least the stage we're at now, is how important the editing is. Mm-hmm. It's more than 50% for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that could change. If the more time we get, the more, the budget grows. Obviously, we can have more shooting days. We can have more. Like right now, our shooting days are fucking insane.
We don't have time.
No, we're always fucking behind. I mean, I'm sure that's every shoot ever. Everyone's always behind. But it's just like, we get 4 hours, 5 hours to shoot an entire
segment
of a video. I mean, a full commercial almost.
Yeah.
Like the first one that's coming out was shot in 1 4 or 5 hour chunk, and that's all the time we had because we had to move on and shoot for the next thing.
Yeah. Because the budgets that we're being given, we just don't have time to be spending spending more time on.
But what we can do is we can kind of save it, quote unquote, in the editing room.
Yeah,
which we've been doing a lot.
It's an interesting term. I think what we're doing is we're elevating it in the editing room.
Sure.
So we're taking something that seems pretty like standard or like, okay, there's some interesting ideas in there.
Yeah.
And then we're making the most of it. And in some cases, really creating something entirely different out of it.
But it's so like, you could have the best footage in the world, but if you can't edit, it's worth shit. It's fucking worth nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can take semi-good footage and you can turn it into something that people are like, wow.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's really good footage.
Yeah, that's really good footage.
Yeah.
Right? That's what people would say.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's cool. It's crazy to me. Because we came out of that shoot on Sunday and I don't know, we weren't down, but we were kind of like, I don't know.
Oh, God. I mean, I was like...
We were scared to look at the footage.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was some wild footage we got. But it was like... we were so out of control with it. We did not have control over that set.
No.
I mean, it's hard to explain without talking about what it is.
Yeah.
You'll see when the video comes out.
Yeah.
But that was pretty hectic.
It's also, we're still limited and we got one light. I mean, amazing that we have a light, but try to light a whole room, a crowd in a room with one light. And you're suddenly
dark.
like, we've
at
got
night.
nothing. We need like one of those like sky China ball things that Lady Gaga has for her music video in that documentary. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
They just got this massive, it's fucking like 2-3 meters across, this China ball light.
Add it to the list.
And it just soft lights everybody below them. And I was like, they've got a massice crane. Or I watched a little bit of the Game of Thrones behind the scenes that you said. Dude, those fucking lights? I'm like, what the fuck?
What is that? It looks like
like a sun up there.
It is.
A little nuclear reactor you guys got up there?
It's playing moon.
Yeah. So,
But I think one thing that I'm finding very satisfying with the videos that we're making now is that for every video, we're going through the full process of making a film.
Yeah.
On a micro scale.
Yeah.
Writing the script.
Yeah.
Revising the script.
Yeah.
Hiring actors, going through, rehearsing those lines, getting props,
rehearsals,
makeup.
Yeah.
Location scouting.
Shooting days.
Scheduling shooting days.
Scheduling the actual shoot.
Meeting up on the day, and then we're shooting everything.
The whole thing.
And that is very satisfying.
Yeah. I mean, even down to like transportation.
Yeah.
We're
organizing everything.
How do you... It's like not the easiest thing in Copenhagen sometimes to get all your equipment somewhere.
No.
How do you know what do we want to shoot with? The easiest thing would just to bring everything, but it's like, well, we can't carry everything, so...
We got the bike back!
Yeah, we did. Oh, we got the bike! How have we not talked about that?
We have not been on the podcast, what I'm telling you.
No, you know what it was? We probably got the bike back
right after
the podcast, before we did Nicholas Kingo. It's Nicholas Kingo,
everybody,
and that's it. Fuck, we got the bike back.
The bike that was stolen back in October.
Yeah,
I'm sitting at my desk in the morning, and I get a call, and the woman on the other end says, "This is the police," and I'm immediately like,
yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah.
Because Phoebe wasn't home, and I know that she just left for work.
Oh my God.
And she goes, "It's nothing urgent." I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What could it be then? And she goes, "We found your bike." And she says it like this, like she's this heroic hero who's...
I mean, I'm sure they don't find that many. Even to them, they're probably like, yes.
And I'm like,
we got one.
What? And I could just hear her kind of start to kind of laughing at their end.
Yeah.
That must have sounded very excited.
Yeah.
Like, where? What do you mean? What is going on? Where's the bike? And she said that someone had found it and returned it to Christiania Bikes, the company in Christiania.
Yeah.
They have your bike. Here's the number. Give them a call. And we're gonna mark it as found. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say.
Well, let me see it first.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, all right. I call them. They're like, yep, we got your bike. Come on down, pick it up. And I'm on my way down there, and I'm like, oh, is this real? Like, is this the actual bike? And I started to doubt it, but it was.
Yeah.
There it is. Looks good as new. Looks like nothing ever happened.
Dude.
It just went on like a little vacation.
6-month vacation.
I don't know where it was, who had it, what happened, but it's back with reinforced locks.
Reinforced locks, and oh my god, I was so excited just because like moving the computer, moving the equipment. We've already used it for shoots again. We don't have to go on the bus with like 8 suitcases.
It's it just opens up so many.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
We lose it, and then my head immediately goes to, okay, what are the positives about this? Like, how can we, okay, fine, we can like limit the amount of stuff we bring on shoots. We can take the bus, and you kind of just get used to that. And when you get it back, it's like you win the lottery.
Oh my god!
It's not like it's nothing like buying a new thing and getting it and being like, yes, I have this new thing. I'm super excited about it because you spent the money on it and you feel like it's a fair trade.
Yeah.
But in this situation, it feels like you accepted the loss. You just dealt with it. Yeah. And you accepted the fact that you weren't able to do certain things. Okay, fine. Even things like me and Phoebe used to go to the beach all the time in it because it's so easy to go with the bike. Yeah. On the other hand, if you take public transport, you have to take a bus to a train and then you have to walk a little bit. Yeah. And it takes like 3 times as long and it's not fun. Yeah. And now with the baby, we were super excited about being able to ride in the bike with the baby. And it's like suddenly it's all back.
We got to bang that bike
and
up.
It feels like you won the lottery.
Yeah.
It's like, I was so happy.
That was a great day.
Anyways, that was not what we were talking about. We're just talking about moving. Oh yeah, going through and being able to like actually do all the jobs.
Yes.
And it's like we're learning. We're just
learning a lot.
There's nothing like experience. I mean, I love reading books and I love learning about new things. I love like reading about marketing, learning marketing strategies. I love reading about screenwriting and like how to structure your screenplay and what works and what doesn't. Story arcs. I love reading about all this stuff, but it does not compare to actually creating a marketing strategy and running the campaign and creating the content for that and distributing it. It does not compare to actually writing a script. It does not compare to actually going out and shooting videos and seeing what works. It's so, even just planning them, you realize while you're there, okay, that doesn't work at all. Why did we even think that would work? Yeah. We have yet to successfully schedule a single day ever without it taking too long. Yeah. We still don't know how to do that. No. Imagine trying to just read about that and theorize about how long does it take to shoot this kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, there's so many pieces of information that you could never possibly gather.
That's what I didn't like about film school. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like it's what I've learned in the past year has... And it's hard to say because I did learn a lot in film school and it probably set me up for this year, but I feel like I've learned way more in the last year than I did the previous 4 years.
100%.
You know?
I feel like I learned more in the past 2 weeks than I learned with 4 years at university.
Yeah. Because it's also, I think the thing is when a professor says, hey, this isn't going to work, you have to feel it a little bit. You have to have the experience of like me having argued with you why it's going to work, realizing it actually doesn't work. That's going to stick in my head for the next time and be like, I'm not going to make that mistake again because that was I went through the whole thing.
It's
Whereas
like...
if a professor says it, you just in your head, you're like,
okay,
yeah, I guess I'm not going to, but it doesn't really teach you anything.
It's like if someone gives you
else's
directions.
Experience.
It's like, okay, to get to this store, you got to take the first left, then you got to walk 200 meters, then take a right, another left, and then another 50 meters, and then it's on your left. Walking that and actually going that, immediately you know it the next time. Yeah. You will know how to take that route, and you don't even have to think about it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you were the one...
I'm pretty terrible at directions.
But you get what I mean, though.
Yeah.
That like, oh, I recognize this spot. I remember that it's that way. You get a feel for the space instead of it just being these numbers you have to like remember in your
normal
head.
person, yes.
Okay.
It's like I'm walking through a black abyss when I'm...
Well, that's because I've looked up how to get there, and then I am the one who gets us there, and you follow.
Oh, use your phone. Don't even... And you
But
take
not
us in
the
the wrong
but not-
direction half the time.
But not
so.
the second time we go to those places.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you do. We just were at a music bunker.
And where
you
did
were
you
like,
say? You said this way, and I said, no, I think it's this way, but I just want to
oh,
make
no,
sure.
you did not. You
I
said, You
did.
said it's either this way or this way. I said,
And you said it's
I
this
think
way.
it's this way.
And then it was the other way.
Because I like to gamble. Because I like to...
And I don't like to make the same mistake twice. So I looked.
Unbelievable. All right, yeah. What else was there? Oh, I wanted to talk a little bit about the girl that we worked with for one of the shoots.
She's on the list.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we shot something for one of the municipalities out here. And
Let's talk about it a little bit. I feel like we can totally talk about it.
Can we?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, they won't know what it is anyways. It's the Gentofte Kommune.
Yeah.
And we were asked to shoot something for their upcoming, what's it called?
They're renovating a building.
They're renovating a building, but it's turning into like
A youth center.
a youth center. That's what it is.
And they're having the youth in Gentofte to
Yeah.
decide what is going to be renovated.
Exactly.
They're involving them.
And there's a lot of money that the youth have access to influence and say, hey, we think this would be a good thing to have in the youth center. We think this would be a good thing, whatever. And so that idea was given to us.
We should create a promo for that.
A promo for that.
that
But
shows
they
the
also said,
process.
can we make it interesting somehow? Because, I mean, the first thing would be, okay, you sit down, you have a meeting, you shout the kids.
Having a meeting about we
documentary
want this
style.
to be there,
Right.
And then you show that it's now there.
Show
and
up
it looks
4
good.
months later and shoot it again.
Yeah.
And the guy who's been contracting us for these videos, who I think we've mentioned a couple times on the podcast, and hopefully we'll have him on the podcast one day.
Yes.
He's a very, I like his style. You know, he's into videos and pushing things and being like, he's a little bit more edgy, I would say, and be
Yeah,
like,
he's
hey,
not
how
afraid
can
to
we
do
make
something
this
different.
Exactly? And so somehow I think between mainly, I think you wrote most of it, but then he had had this idea of a time travel thing, and then you started writing the script, and then we started to piece this thing together, and it's turned into this like apocalyptic time travel short film, right?
That takes place in this location.
Yeah, that still has restrictions. Obviously, we still need to mention certain things, and certain scenes are written for very specific reasons. Because you're like, a scene that shows the kids discussing this sort of thing, that's out of our control. But we can still try to make it interesting. So, anyways, we started shooting this short film. I'm just gonna call it, and the guy who had hired us had also said, well, I've got some ideas for actresses and actors.
Yeah.
I've got these, two that I know, and I think the girl's going to be perfect for the role.
Okay.
Right? And, dude, she fucking shows up, and she might just be
The best actors we've worked with.
ever.
Actress.
Yeah.
Anything.
Ever. And she's like 13 or 14 years old.
On multiple levels.
Yeah.
Her work ethic.
Oh.
Her enthusiasm.
Oh! Her...
Preparation. And just her...
Was that 30 minutes?
Her talent. Yeah.
Fuck.
So let's set it up a little bit. So
Yeah.
we spent quite a bit of time prepping for this video.
Yeah.
Just writing the script took a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then getting all the materials and
Yeah.
scheduling it and
Yeah.
planning it and shot lists and getting out there. And so we set up this first shot, and up until that point, we'd just done a read through of the script
Yeah.
where we're like, okay, she seems like she can definitely
Yeah.
deliver the lines.
She's okay.
Believably.
Yeah. Which is the main thing we're looking at, because again, we usually don't have the budget to hire real actors and actresses.
Yes.
We just don't.
We go with
We tell people, hey, this would be
suggestions,
way
people
better.
helping.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing.
So far, it seems
How
like
well-
it's gone very well.
It's gone so well.
Worked with like #1 model in Denmark.
Yeah. I mean, it's bizarre. But yeah, so
free.
she shows up. We don't have super high expectations, but we're like, okay, she'll be pretty good. And the first shot.
I mean, for the first shot, I was like, oh god, okay, so this is all, because this first shot is like an action shot.
Yeah.
Where she has to be biking full speed.
Yeah.
And then she has to get off her bike.
Yeah.
And then she has to run to a door.
Right.
See if she can get into the door.
Right.
And then run the other way.
Right.
And so with everything we've done in the past, I feel like we both know, okay, well, this is going to be a process. They're going to do it the first time.
We'll build up to
and
it.
then we're going to have to tell, okay, you need to do this more like this, and it has to be more intensity.
Or you're already in your head, you're like, okay, we're just going to cut there.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cut to something else.
Yeah, you're trying to think, how can you make it look like it's intense?
Exactly. And so we're like, okay, you know what? Let's just go for a take. Camera set up on the slider. We got this nice little move. And we're like, I guess we'll just tell her to go.
And
hey,
action.
somewhere around there, do your little drift, run to the door, and we'll just build it, okay?
Yeah.
Dude, she fucking books it on this bike. Like, she's going full speed.
She brought her own bike.
She brought her own bike.
We had said nothing about what to do with this bike.
She's going full speed. I'm like, what is she going to drift? Like, what's going on? She fucking leaps off of this bike. I'm like convinced she's going to face plant. No, it doesn't break at all.
No braking.
Tosses the bike goes like flying. She runs to the door. It's like goes to the door, runs out of the scene again. And I was just like a little bit like speechless.
All three of us were like, holy fuck.
And, the guy, I'm just going to say his name, Matthias,
was
immediately like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Everyone, I think he had thought she had like hurt herself or something.
She's like, yep.
Yeah, because she was a little bit stumbling when she got off the bike at first and everything. She comes back, right? The gears come off or something. We got to like reset that. Do you even notice that?
Yeah.
Like she had like really done a number on this bike.
The bike.
Yeah. And we're like, are you ready for another take? And she's like, yeah. And we don't need to go into too much detail with it, but what I noticed is when you have that caliber of actor, it suddenly becomes addicting just to be like, oh, just go again. I just want to see what you do.
Yeah, do it slightly differently.
Yeah.
And do it again.
Here's a little note.
Yeah.
And I just want to see what that does.
Yeah.
And every fucking time she would fucking nail it. It would be like, hey, can you do something? You got to like scream something like that. I would scream and I'd be like, but not like that. That's not that good. But something like that. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, she really took direction very well. She seemed to understand the script.
Yeah.
Which was very satisfying.
Yeah.
There was nothing like, all right, we're doing this scene. And then every time we've worked with actors before, they've gone and looked at that page and been like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She would be like, okay. I'm like, oh, you don't need to look at it?
Yeah. So prepared.
No, she'd already translated the entire 9-page script from English to Danish.
Yeah.
And had it printed out and ready.
Yeah.
It's small things. It sounds like, yeah, why wouldn't an actor do that?
Yeah.
But I think, when where we are currently with the budgets we have, it's just we're not able to work with people who are that good are going to charge more.
Yeah.
We happen to get her when she's 14.
Yeah.
And she's just starting.
But it's also because I recognize a lot of myself in that. Not the good acting part, but just the like when you said, okay, let's reset.
Yeah.
She would run.
She would run to the
her
beginning.
spot every time.
To not keep people waiting.
Yeah.
And what it does is it makes everyone else there, because there's a bunch of extras as well,
Yeah.
which can be very hard to control extras because
Yeah.
they get bored. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's boring to sit there and not do anything. But when they see her sprint back to the beginning, they're like, oh, fuck, I don't want to like mess this up for her
Yeah.
and be the reason why we have to do it again.
Yeah.
Because then she has to keep running.
Yeah.
And then it just gets everyone ready.
Excited.
Everyone goes,
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Even us.
Yeah.
Not that we're need that much convincing to do that, but
Yeah.
sometimes it just, I think you're right. It's a little addicting to keep trying to do something more than, and it made us want to do some more creative stuff.
Yeah.
With the filming, with the shooting.
It's when it's better than, I've only had that experience a couple of times where it's better than you imagined it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
and
not
that's when you're like, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's not a case of, okay, how can we get it too close to what we wanted it to
Right.
be? Or how can we save
Right.
the original intention without changing it too much so
Yeah.
that it fits what this person's capable of?
Yeah.
It was like, oh shit, they're able to do it.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can do anything more.
Oh, I wasn't even prepped for this. What if you do it like this? And then it becomes not a chore anymore, because if you're working with an actor who can't say one line, it is the most drowning, like, it's just then your job becomes very difficult all of a sudden, because you're trying to push for motivation. It's not coming across. It becomes this little bit feeling of like pulling teeth. You're also thinking in your head like, okay, this is not how I pictured it. So you're getting a little bit down. Just the opposite of that is like so refreshing.
Yeah.
You know?
It was very, very fun.
It was so fun. And I was also impressed because we had extras, like we said. They're all like these 12 to 14-year-old little shits, you know? Which, nothing against them. I was exactly the same way at that age.
The other extras were 16.
16, whatever.
She was the youngest.
Okay. But it's just like there's boys and there's girls, and I kind of got the dynamic of like, oh, the boys want to act cool a little bit, and like, oh, we don't really care.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
just here because somebody told us to, blah, blah,
Not
blah.
cool to try.
It's not cool to try. And so to see her give her all
In
every
front of them?
time and not give a shit about anybody that was there, I was just like, yes, this is.
Yeah, let's do a read through. You're not even on camera.
Yeah.
We're just going to do a read through with this
Yeah.
other character
Yeah.
who was struggling a little bit with the lines.
Yeah.
And she just like gives as much intensity in that
Yeah.
performance, even though the camera is on this other guy. And it just sets the bar where
Yeah.
it needs to be.
Yeah. It's just it's very satisfying. And a lot of the, maybe I don't want to say she's better than like everybody we've worked with. I think it was
It's hard
just
to compare.
It was just the contrast of what I was expecting versus what happened.
Yeah.
Because working with kids, I just kind of was like, oh, this is going to be a real, like, you got to talk them through exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Look over here, look like this, because I think it's hard to get kids to connect with emotions sometimes, because that's like I feel like an adult thing to do is to be able to mimic emotions and to act, basically, right? And when you see a kid grasp that, there's a certain like maturity that comes with that, I think. There's a certain sense of like, damn, there's something special there.
I think what was satisfying about it, above everything, was that we were actually able to give direction and feel like, oh, we're good at directing as well. Because often it has been a case of, I think what the character is thinking is more this, and this, and their motivation is this.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that.
Yeah.
Action. And then it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. I need to think of something different. You
Right.
can't keep saying, oh, it's because it's a bad actor. Like, regardless of whether or not that's the case, it just
Right.
doesn't get very far if
No.
you just say that internally. I mean, not like out loud to the person.
Oh.
But, you got to come up, okay, I got to think of a new way to convey what I want them to do.
Yeah.
Whereas with her, she was responding very well to what we were saying.
Yeah.
And it was a satisfying feeling of like, yeah, I got it right.
Yeah.
We both got it right. Like,
Yeah.
I was able to say the thing that needed to change.
Yeah.
And she understood it
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I was like,
And that's a collaboration. That is her adding something to the final product, not just being a pawn in our little game.
Yes.
It's like,
Felt like
now
we wanted
she
to
is a
highlight
player as
her-
well. Yeah.
her talent.
It's good.
On camera.
So anyways, that was fun.
Oh.
That was a fun shoot. Honestly, I did enjoy that.
I did. I mean, with the exception of the part where I had to direct in Danish, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange, honestly. And that is also difficult for me because I get a little bit bored.
Oh my God. It was horrible.
Yeah.
That's it.
That is it. That is it. I think we did about
An hour and 10.
hour 10. It's perfect.
We'll see you next time on Burning Boat Business.
Bye.